Hey guys, what's up? This is Muscle Genesis, aka Faizan, and today's going to be a personal topic about why am I so passionate about kids. There's a couple of things. I do see a lot of propaganda posts about how there's so many deadbeat fathers, and all I can tell you is that in my personal experience, and again, I don't know the statistics on top of my head, but I would say that there are not that many deadbeat fathers that social media portrays them. But the idea is more that why am I so passionate about my kids? Well, first and foremost, after I gone through my divorce, I have realized that there's no one that's going to be present for me except for my kids, right? So not only they're my blood and sperm, obviously, but the unconditional love that I got or I get from my kids is completely different, right? Most of the times you will get in a personal relationship, you may be married or you may be with someone for 10, 15 years and then you go through a divorce and then you realize that the only person that you have are your kids. So that's number one. Number two is although your parents love you, they will surpass you at some point, so you will outlive them. And as daunting as that is, and it's a huge fear, it's also the point that you want to be able to build a foundation where your parents can see how you raise your kids and you live viscerally through them, right? And I think that's a really important concept. And the third thing I've realized that I've looked at so many high elite people that I look up to, obviously the Musk, the Bezos, the Joe Rogans, and all of them do have families. This notion that you can just be gratifying in your millions and millions of dollars and success, but not pass it on to your generation or prodigy, I think that's a horrible concept, right? And for me, my kids were really interesting because my son, he's like my best friend. So the relationship I have with him is completely different than with my daughter. With my daughter, I truly learned how to love unconditionally. And it's such a pure love that I can't even explain it. It's very hard for me to put it in words, and I get emotional about it. So the message is to all the deadbeat fathers, you will die one day. And when you're in your deathbed, right? And there's no one around you, even your kids, passing away in that manner is probably the worst thing you can do. And for all the mothers that abstain from having their kids have access to their father because you are the toxic person, I've seen a lot of example for that too. Just remember that the kids will have this disdain when they grow up. And unfortunately, the fathers don't see it because it's such a lifelong time. Like, I'm fairly young, but life is gonna pass by me, and before I know it, my kids might be 16, 18, and I'm like, man, how the heck did they grow up so fast? And just realize that sooner or later, the kid will reach out to his father. The kid will hate you for the rest of your life. And I honestly cannot wait when that's going to happen to one of my former spouses. It's not something that I wish upon as a karma, but it's just that most people know how you are as a person. Most people know how you'll treat your kids. Like, they can gauge that. Like, women's intuition is not wrong. They're not completely oblivious. I think they just choose to have missed wrongdoings and then choose to gain empathy because that's how women, sometimes some women's nature are. But in all honesty, you know a person's character. If a person is not looking after them, please don't have kids with them because you know that they will not be a good caretaker. If a person cannot do their own laundry or wash their own dishes, what makes you think that they can take care of another person? So I think these are really important things to understand and know, and just not have a kid for the sake of having a kid. I think that's a really important notion to understand before you try to have a family or co-parent with someone that you know that you have to be stuck with them for the eternity, because co-parenting gets really hard once you do find another spouse, and it's just a different family dynamic, and people that have not gone through it will never understand it. Thank you for watching and have a great one.